Welcome to Mainland, your local regional television station. I'm Tania Omar, and some of the stories coming up in our second last broadcast news countdown: sun shines and wind bites at Awaroa gifting.
Chrissy Small reporting for Mainland Television News down here at Awaroa Beach at the inlet. This is, of course, the Give a Little land grab where the public have taken back control of once a privately owned property. As you can see, a couple of hundred people have turned out today, and there's been lots of speeches, there's been Māori blessings. We've heard some of the history from the local iwi about their whānau, how they've come here, what this place has meant to them. It now means a lot to New Zealand. It's been a real stand for the people, and well, this is probably one of Mainland's last big stories, so it's been a real pleasure to be here today.
Visiting scientists' message for DHB, Ford does it again, and more. The sun shone brightly, but the wind had a sting to it as local iwi from Nelson, Motueka and Golden Bay gathered on Sunday at the Awaroa Inlet Beach property to officially greet the Give a Little Awaroa land campaigners, Dwayne Major and Adam Gardner, along with their families, hundreds of supporters, DOC and government representatives for the Awaroa Beach gifting ceremony. The official welcome pauhiri took place on the sand dunes, followed by iwi representative Whakatū Incorporation Chairman Paul Morgan, who spoke about the history of Māori in Awaroa.
I'm a descendant of the rangatira who occupied this place, Awaroa. Good afternoon to all of us on this wonderful Awaroa day, especially ngā tamariki, our children and mokos who are here with us and will remember the story of this special occasion over their lifetimes. We are gathering here today to celebrate, but one story of this whenua, to share the history of the district and the return of a small area of land, whenua, in Awaroa, from private ownership to the Crown, the New Zealand public, us. To recognise and acknowledge the idea and drive of Dwayne and Adam, the team they gathered around us, them, and the thousands of New Zealanders that gave a little, and foreigners who contributed to buy this land back. For Hapu, we have the opportunity through this land transaction to discuss and share the history of Awaroa, Te Mātou separation point, Maraho, Motueka, and the rohe that we live in all. To understand the belief systems, philosophy of Māori pertaining to whenua Māori, the occupation of Hapu, iwi Māori for almost a millennium have lived here until the British and Hapu and iwi signed the Treaty of Waitangi in 1840. Shortly afterwards, the Honourable or Dishonourable Wakefields arrived in town under the auspices of the New Zealand Company. To establish the Nelson settlement. Our ancestors were the last tribal migration of peoples to settle here in this rohe, including Awaroa. We came from Kāwhia and North Taranaki and came on the Meneheke from the north. Awaroa, with its wonderful microclimate, beautiful warm today, is one of the many seasonal places rich in kai moana, mahinga kai, good cultivations, and our people occupied the land along this coastline from their permanent occupations in Motueka and Maraho. The burial grounds of our tupuna and many that came before are in the migrating sands of this bay and known to a few. The New Zealand Company and the Crown at the time, 1848 to 1856, took possession and bought the land from my ancestors. The truth is, they will not be able to establish in law the extinguishing of our ancestors' customary title, including the land here at Awaroa. The historical records show the Crown's commitment to establish native reserves along the coastline, including here at Awaroa, to Ngāti Raro, Rangatira and their wives, Penetapo, Meranako, Ihaka, Te Mere Pukeroa, and Karei Pokukohatu, the son of Te Tana Pokukohatu, came and occupied these lands. You may or may not have read the Mitchell research that was published by the editor of the Nelson Mail just after Christmas when this debate arose. And the editor had suggested that Dr. John Mitchell publish a note about the history of this area. And I'll read a part of it. When the Land Commissioner finally arrived in Te Tauihu, here in the South Island, in late 1855, local Māori were told their land was already purchased, that the inhabitants would receive small payments for their interests, but they had no choice in the matter. A condition of the purchase was that small reserves on which Māori could live and work would be set aside for residents on the purchased lands. Hapu argue that despite the guarantee of Article 2 of the Treaty of Waitangi, that they could retain all their lands until they chose to sell. Their ancestors had no choice and no real negotiations took place.
Associate Minister for Conservation Nikki Wagner spoke, followed by Environment Minister Nick Smith. Finally, the two men responsible for galvanising a country to buy back private land for public ownership, Dwayne Major and Adam Gardner, spoke to the crowd.
We said we'd wear our t-shirts and we were determined to do so. But I was cuddling up to Dwayne for a little bit there. So, yeah. So look, firstly, big thank you to you, Mana Whenua, for being so gracious, not only for today, hosting for today, but being gracious and in this whole process. It means a lot to us. It means a lot to us that you've hosted this today, but also that you've observed what's been going on here and the way in which you've acted as well. So thank you very much. You made the journey to come here today, and that's really special for us. And that costs a lot of people a lot of money as well. So it's very humbling that people have been prepared to do that and share in this special occasion. But we'd also like to acknowledge all the people that aren't here today that have been a part of this, either in the past, this land, or in this campaign, and what it means to them as well. So we know that they'll be here in spirit, but we'd like to acknowledge them because obviously not practical for everyone to be here. There's also, there have been a lot of people who have lent their weight to the campaign. The story is true, it was on Christmas Day that we came up with the idea, and our families basically said, why don't you do something about it rather than just talking about it? So we said, all right, we will do something about it. But it was only ever possible because of the people. So, our names have been mentioned today on a number of occasions, but it's about the people and the collective. And it was, we feel it was a real journey of trust, basically. And it's amazing that positive people power and the positive human spirit when it comes together, and people actually, gather around and join together for a really positive cause. It's amazing what can be done. And there are little sparks of this which happens, and long may it continue from other people. I said earlier today, it feels more and more like a wedding. and I've got perma smile at the moment. I can't get a smile on my face. I'm one very happy human being. So yeah, just look around. Like you mentioned the words beautiful, wonderful. You know, it's just a good day. So we're just so happy to be here. This campaign, thanks to the media fraternity who have got into the spirit of this, I think they've done a good job of actually bringing people together and aspiring to something, you know, greater. So I just want to thank the media and for the part that you've played. So it's been a wildly public initiative, period of time, sprint, but it's been deeply personal. And someone asked me a question the other day about, you know, how do you feel personally? And I think the word profound came out my mouth. And I just checked in with Adam. I said, mate, bro, I said that we're feeling profoundly affected. Is that true for you? And Adam said, yeah, that's true for me. So we don't know how to put the words around that, but it feels profound at a personal level. And we'll make sense of that in the days to come, I suppose. But it's also, we believe, been really significant for us as a country and as people that live here. We're bounded by this coastline. There's so much that we share. And we've tried our hardest to stay true to the trust that's been given. I'd like to think going forward and even today, it's been a trust building process between people and organisations. It sort of came, it's sort of a bit of a surprising thing, it happened. But we hope that our trust continues to be built.
After the ceremony, the new dock sign was revealed and attendees were then invited to take part in some hot refreshments supplied by the Department of Conservation before the Sea Shuttle's boat's departure. As a sign of how genuine the two campaigners really are, Dwayne and Adam were there when people began to board the boats, thanking each person for attending the gifting ceremony. Chrissy Small caught up with Dwayne before the ceremony.
What a marvellous day. You couldn't have asked for better weather.
I'm pretty stoked. I don't check the weather, but boy, this week I've been tempted. But I got up this morning, I saw the stars last night and got up and watched the sunrise that no, we're in. It's a pearler.
Yeah, and I believe you've got your whole family here today.
Yeah, no, all 4 kids and Ruth, and then my mum's here too, so it's real cool.
Oh, excellent. Look, it's going to be quite a turnout for the handover.
Yeah, it got to get up to about 200 people. It's just actually really, really exciting. And to think, you know, there's no roads and everyone's taking a risk on the weather. So I'm pretty proud to be connected. And we're also, I just posted this morning on Facebook, very much aware of all those thousands of people, homes and, you know, schools and couples and individuals who have given. And yeah, in a lot of ways they're in our minds. And so we're very much conscious of them being here as well.
Yep. Well, you've got local iwi, they're going to come and do a blessing, I believe. It's all happening. You've even got a few ministers from Parliament coming. Yeah,
no, very honoured with the pōwhiri. I think there's 40 or 50 people from the iwi here. So to be welcomed on in that formal sense, it's very special. Every pōwhiri I've been part of, it's been very special. So really looking forward to that. Yeah, Nikki Wagner and Nick Smith are going to be here too, I believe. So looking forward to seeing them. I haven't seen them yet.
Yeah. Okay, did you have much deal? Oh, well, you would have had a fair bit of dealing with them towards the end of the old Give a Little campaign?
More post. It was very precarious for everyone, including the government. And so, no, we dealt with Mervyn English, who's the Deputy Director General of DOC. He was intimately involved. And I'm kind of hoping he'll be here today, though I'm not sure whether he is. But those guys would have been working behind the scenes as we were sort of working in front of the scenes. But, you know, I know that they were doing what they could to assist the sort of, you know, the thrust and the surge of what was going on.
While Awaroa handover was taking place in the Abel Tasman National Park, Sunday afternoon in Nelson proved popular with a full to capacity crowd with 160 people filling the Masonic Hall in Niles Street for a presentation by UK scientist Professor Paul Connett. I caught up with Paul to talk about why he was in our region. Welcome, Professor Connett. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So you're an expert in this area of fluoridation in water and the effects it has on us. Is that correct?
I've been studying the issue for 20 years. I'm a retired professor of chemistry. My speciality was environmental chemistry and toxicology. I didn't want this issue, but my wife persuaded me to get into it. And eventually led to the publication of a book with 2 other professors, The Case Against Fluoride. It is one of the most foolish public health policies of all time. when we deliberately add to the drinking water a known toxic substance. We shouldn't use the drinking water to deliver any medicine, because once you put it in the water, you can't control the dose, you can't control who it goes to, and it violates the individual's right to informed consent to medication. And that's just the beginning of it. It would be bad for any substance. It's particularly bad for fluoride because there is no known use for fluoride inside the body. The level in mother's milk is very, very low. So nature is protecting the baby, keeping the fluoride levels in mother's milk very low. And water fluoridation removes that protection. Any family that uses fluoridated tap water to make up the formula is going to give their baby about 200 times more fluoride than nature intended. And now we're seeing the consequences of that.
So why are city councils fluoridating their water?
I don't think they're well informed. I think, unfortunately, for the few governments, most governments don't do this. Most countries do not fluoridate the water. 97% of European countries do not fluoridate their water. The few that have are so locked into this policy that policy is now king. And when policy is king, then science is a slave. They don't look, they're not reading at the literature from around the world. They're not doing their own studies. By and large, Australia, New Zealand, England, Canada, Ireland, and the United States are not doing very much research. Most of the research on fluoride's harm is coming from India and China, which have high natural levels of fluoride. One of the most concerning is that we now have over 300 studies which indicate that fluoride could damage the brain. That's very serious. We have 50 human studies which indicate that fluoride is associated with lowered IQ. Exposure to fluoride lowered IQ. So what I've been saying to the promoters of fluoridation around the world, we're waving here 300 red flags. 300 red flags that you may be putting into the water a substance that could be damaging your child's brain. Where are your green flags? Where are the studies that you have read and have studied and have given you the confidence to ignore all these 300 studies which suggest that fluoride is neurotoxic?
Paul, when I watch mainstream media, as a layperson who hasn't investigated the fluoridation in water, I see experts popping up on the other side of the argument, speaking through my TV, telling me it is all okay, and people that are just on some bender about it. Why is there this, you're considered left of field if you don't support putting chemicals in water?
The only people who think I'm left of field would be those who haven't read the literature. And unfortunately, the problem is that many dentists and doctors today only got one side of this issue at dental school. You've only got one dental school in New Zealand. They're very pro-fluoridation, and that's all their students get. Then when they've graduated, they don't have time. Most of them do not have time, once they've got a practice, to study literature on every subject, and fluoridation is one that they don't study very closely. And unfortunately, they then take the word of their professional bodies who are biased on this issue, and the government is biased on this issue. As I say, it's a policy that they're protecting. They're not protecting our health. And in fact, if I was wrong, that would be very easy for them, very easy indeed for them. They've got hundreds of bureaucrats working in their various organizations publicly debate me. They would put me on the same stage with their experts, they'd have the cameras rolling, and every time I appeared anywhere, they could just give this videotape out there having crushed me. But they won't do that. I've been to New Zealand many times since 1996, 97. Never have they debated me in public. They won't respond to my book. The book has been out for 6 years. I presented it to the Ministry of Health. I went through it, the whole book, in front of 20 people. And at the end I said, look, 3 professors opposed to fluoridation have done everything you could expect. We've outlined our case. It's totally transparent. We have 80 pages of references documenting everything we've said. Now, this is your practice. It's your turn now. You respond to this book. You tell me where we're wrong.
So it says to me then, we've got to follow the money. Who's making money out of fluoridation?
Well, who's saving money out of fluoridation? Answer the sugar lobby. It's a massive distraction from the fact that tooth decay is not caused by lack of fluoride. It's caused by too much sugar and not enough dental hygiene. Kids have got to be taught to brush their teeth better. And in fact, we have 2 programs now, one in Scotland, Child Smile, and one in Denmark called Nexo, that educate both the children and the parents, and the children from the youngest age. They have home visits in Denmark, in this town of Nexo, from 8 months right the way through to 18, checking that they are using the right technique to minimize the plaque. They don't even use topical fluoride. Only if there's a sign of caries do they use topical fluoride, like toothpaste. But they don't have any swallowing of fluoride in their program. And you see a dramatic difference with this simple method in tooth decay in the little town of Nexo and the rest of Denmark. The rest of Denmark goes like this, and Nexo goes like this. So we are talking very basic, simple ways of fighting tooth decay, which don't involve forcing people to drink this toxic substance in their water every day.
Okay, so Professor Connaught, what would you suggest to Nelsonians to do to bring awareness to our City Council?
I think you've got to do it on 2 levels. I think on the political level, you've got to insist that the decision makers read the literature, and we've got plenty for them to read. And on the other front, I'd like to see a positive campaign. I'd like to see a campaign which advocates healthy food, healthy teeth, healthy bodies, and a healthy community. So in other words, get the community to do what they're doing in Scotland and Denmark and improve the education from the very young, and take it on as a whole community responsibility and make it very, very positive. This isn't just about teeth. This is about the whole body. This is about fitness. This is about health. Because if you do the right things to fight tooth decay, you're going to be fighting obesity. And that's going to save this country millions of dollars on healthcare in the future.
This time last year, over 100 classic Ford motor vehicles converged on Rabbit Island in celebration of Henry Ford's birthday. People from as far as Christchurch came to the local event, and this year it's happening all over again. I spoke with Chairman of the Nelson Classic Ford Car Club, Pete Soundy, about Ford, smart living and the demise of local news. Why would you celebrate this dead American?
Because he was one of the instigators of production of motor vehicles with the cars he built. He was the first one to assemble cars in a long thing, with each person putting bits and pieces onto the car as it went along. So he actually instigated the initial assembly of cars in a way that made it more cheaper to actually assemble cars and build cars.
And we hear that the City Council wants to award people for smart living, people that are, using efficient energy and things like that. And there's a lot of talk now of, we shouldn't use big cars and we need to go smaller and more economical and better for the carbon credits, all this stuff. What are the Ford Club's views on all this?
Yes, we would probably agree with the amount of stuff that cars put out, but the members of this club are basically gentlemen, ladies that have acquired a car and just want to celebrate the car that they have.
After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.
Nelson Tire Center. Great prices, great service. Buy your own Bryford trailer. All types, all sizes.
Hi, I'm Colin from Nelson Tire Centre. Come on down for a good deal.
We're the team at JCar, right here in Nelson, 120 Hardy Street. Our shop is full of electronic items,
including security alarm systems, electronic components,
solar and power,
electronics toys,
sound systems, cables, and much, much more. JCar.
120 Hardy Street, Nelson.
Hi there, Julian Toon, Waimea Telecommunications. We install and maintain domestic and commercial satellite TV, UHF Freeview and Mainland TV installations in the Nelson, Tasman regions. We specialise in Panasonic telephone systems and provide communications, Wi-Fi, IT and wiring for internet, fibre, computers and DSL systems. At Waimea Telecommunications, we also provide specialist electronic systems for features such as a security camera you can watch on your TV, visitor alert systems and much more. Improve your security and communication and entertainment today. Call us on Waimea Telecommunications on 021 472297, ytel.co.nz.
World War I was a defining period in our history, impacting greatly on the lives of people from the Nelson province. Memories of the First World War is an exhibition which will be displayed in a number of regional venues and is currently on at the Nelson Provincial Museum.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
Nelson Classic Ford Car Club invite the public to a meet-up on Sunday the 31st of July at Rabbit Island from 10 a.m. Families are also invited to come along and see over 100 classic Fords on display. The Ford Car Club has organised this run out to Rabbit Island in celebration of Henry Ford's birthday. Cars will be on display from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. On behalf of the team here at Mainland Television News, thank you for joining us, and sadly we'll be bringing you our last news and events from around our region tomorrow.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
G'day, it's your old mate the Mad Butcher and you're watching Mainland TV.
Hi there, Julian Toon, Waimea Telecommunications. We install and maintain domestic and commercial satellite TV, UHF Freeview and Mainland TV installations in the Nelson, Tasman regions. We specialise in Panasonic telephone systems and provide communications, Wi-Fi, IT and wiring for internet, fibre, computers and DSL systems. At Waimea Telecommunications, we also provide specialist electronic systems for features such as a security camera you can watch on your TV, visitor alert systems and much more. Improve your security and communication and entertainment today. Call us on Waimea Telecommunications on 021 472297, ytel.co.nz.